going to talk about traveling solo, and more importantly, traveling solo as a female. So women tend to travel solo much more than men do. From Pinterest to Google, searches for traveling solo as a woman have skyrocketed by almost 350%. So we all love to travel. We're going to talk about traveling while being a woman, traveling while gay, because that's also very relevant. You've got to be really particular about where you're traveling to. And we've all got different tips about it. So Lorraine, I'm going to start with you. If you're traveling as a woman solo, you suggest maybe going with a tour group.
Yes, well, I spent years traveling solo.
Yes.
And I feel that you do want to be on your own. You want to have your own space. But if you go as a group, an organized tour, then you always have somebody to have dinner with.
Yes.
And you always have somebody to ask if you have a problem. You know, you feel a little bit safer, I think. And it could be an organized tour for your hobby. You know, they even have quilting cruises now where all these people go on and they do like, yes, seriously, quilting cruises.
Sounds like a great time.
But there are things to do with wine. I mean, we always have people traveling solo on my group trips, you know, to do with food and wine and things like that. And it's a really great way to travel. You can also go on yoga retreats and things. As a single woman, that is a great thing to do. And you feel safe and, you know, you have a little bit of company if you want it.
We're all into something different. It's nice that you can go out there and find the group of people that are into whatever you're into and then travel together. You have lots to talk about. Can we talk a little bit about, you say book in the shoulder season, first of all. What's that?
Yeah, well, shoulder pad season. No, I'm kidding.
I'm like, tell me more about this season.
You have to wear shoulder pads, people. No, you don't. So shoulder season is not high season, not low season. But if there's going to be any specials for single supplement reductions, that's going to be in that time. So if you go April, let's say, March to Europe, or October to Europe, or you're going to go just at the end of hurricane season into the Caribbean, it's the best time to go because actually it's very much more affordable, and if there are single supplements, going to be good.
Okay, and quickly, some places, safest places to visit as a single woman.
Anything Scandinavian, of course. You know, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, all of those. Portugal's great, very good value for money, excellent, excellent things to do. And I really love, if you want to go farther afield and you're a bit of an adventure seeker, go to New Zealand.
Oh,
very safe, super safe. Super safe.
Okay, good. That's good to know. Okay, Christian, talk about what we need to think about if you were traveling while gay.
I mean, there's definitely things you think about, like what's the culture. What I always say is basically before you're going anywhere, especially if it's somewhere new, do lots of research. Like there's all places I go, places that like, how did you just discover this spot, location, whatever? It's like, it's called Google. I Googled before I left home. So it's definitely something I always look wherever I'm going, like, is there a village? Is certain areas great for any of us to travel or not travel in, right? And then I usually will pre-download. You can download a Google map ahead of time so that you can actually use it offline. Because I find it's always what people panic in terms of their safety. They're not sure where they are, and then they try and pull up their phone, and they can't get reception, so they can't follow where to go. But if you pre-download the map, you can then kind of figure out how to get back to where you're supposed to be going.
100%.
The other trick I sometimes do sort of casually is when I travel alone, I often go to restaurants that often have a bar. No surprise here. And I actually ask to sit at the bar. Usually, there's no lineup to sit at the bar, and I actually will often talk to either the female or male bartender. What's cool? What's new? Where should I be going? It's kind of my own little trend hunting research to find what the locals are up to. And you're like, if they suggest, you're like, oh, is it safe to go to that neighborhood? Is it this? I've heard that. And they'll definitely give you the honest truth.
Yes.
I used to do it with concierges, but I also realized concierges sometimes get kickbacks from restaurants.
Yeah, they do. They're not always the right places.
And then the other trick I often do, even if I'm at a new city, is I'll book a hop-on, hop-off bus.
Me too.
Because it's great. Like, you can kind of see it for a distance. You're like, oh, this is a good neighborhood. I want to hop off here, do some shopping, and then hop back on.
That's right.
You don't have to learn the local transit. They kind of help you out. You get a free ride, little info, right? And you can still get around the city easily.
Word of mouth is great, and I know so many gay couples and gays who are traveling solo DM'd me when we were in Italy, when we were in Portugal, when we were in Spain, and they were like, is this a good spot? Do you feel it's safe? Would I go? And I always go by, a lot of the hotels will have like the rainbow flag outside, and then you know for sure it's LGBTQ positive. But we have the same concerns traveling while Black.
Yeah.
As a family or as solo, when we do an Airbnb, we tell them, my husband always says, we were a Black family. And some of them say, why are you telling us? And others say, thank you, we don't have space available. So we need to lead with that. Because I don't want any surprises on the other side, especially if my kids are with us. Yeah, it happens. Janice, you've traveled solo quite a bit.
Yes.
Pro at it. What would you tell us for tips?
Well, first off, I hadn't until I signed the divorce papers that day. I booked my first trip to Italy by myself. I learned my first tip that I will share is I booked it for after 2 weeks with my children, my 4 children, and so I was exhausted, and my 2 weeks in Italy was a massive, expensive, amazing nap. Like I woke up, had coffee, had a nap. I went down to the beach, I had a nap. So I would consider the placement of your trip and what's happening before.
Yes.
And then second, because I am by myself, I would pick a smaller venue like an Airbnb or just like those little boutique hotels where you get to know the people who own it. And they're the ones who are sending me to their family restaurant, their cousin's dinner. So when I go, they're expecting just me. I don't get any comments, shame, or anything for showing up by myself. I had the loveliest seats and lots of entertainment. And then also I tell them when I'm coming back. I'm like, I will be back at this time.
Okay.
You know, like, for me, please no. And they're like, yes,
Watch
of
out
course.
for me.
Yeah, so I make it back. Because otherwise, like, I don't know, my family's not following me back here in Canada, right? So I would, you know, when I'm talking to them. But anyway, I just want to know when I'm coming home.
Really good tips. I love it. Don't let anything stop you from traveling and just getting out there, whether you're solo or in a group.